Hi boys and ghouls. Obviously it's me again. We had some net issues today, so I'm going through and doing a quick recording of all of my eyeshadow palettes. I do want to know in the future what you guys want to see out of my eyeshadow palettes. If there's certain looks you want me to create or certain palettes you want me to work with, please let me know because I'm really curious to see what you guys are interested in. So we already did a part 1, which had a lot of my individual palettes, some indie brand palettes, and just palettes I don't have a lot of each brand with. So we're going to go into the next set, which we're going to start with, let's start with Morphe because you guys know I have this. So the first one I have is the Jaclyn Hill palette, which I have not used yet. I've not touched actually, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep this guy. It's beautiful, but I don't really know what to do with it because it is so large. So this would be the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. It's such a huge palette, and honestly, it's some of the same colors as the next one I'm going to show you, which you guys know I have used on my channel. And I did a look with each individual palette, which I thought was kind of fun, and I thought it was kind of a fun way to do things since I'm still kind of new with YouTube and seeing what people like. And I love makeup. I love chatting about makeup, and I'm having an issue getting this one in the packaging. I'm still new with makeup, or not makeup, I'm still new with YouTube. So the next one is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Vault palettes. I absolutely love the way this was packaged, for one. The packaging on it's really nice for a little vault collection. Here you see the 4 palettes. We have Dark Magic, Armed and Gorgeous, Bling Boss, and Ring the Alarm. So this one is Dark Magic, which is the most recent look video I did. It's very dark, but it came out very beautiful. The next one is the Armed and Gorgeous, which was the surprise killer of the videos and looks for me. I really loved this palette. The next one was the one that I wanted to love, but I had struggled with the most, and that was the Ring the Alarm palette. I do have my light on my camera, so I can't see how well these shades are showing up until I watch the replay, but it seems like usually on the replay they look really nice, so hopefully that's the issue. This one is getting really dirty from one color. And the last one is the Bling Boss, and this was my favorite look out of all 4 palettes. The Bling Bling shade, the shade that you see that's really messy, that shade is absolutely beautiful on. It's a very nice metallic shadow. I see why people actually unbox everything before they do palette videos too, because it adds to the time. So next we're going to go into Too Faced. I have 3 palettes from Too Faced. The first one is the Just Peachy Mattes palette. Oop, I keep forgetting there's a little eyeshadow in there. I'm going to take that guy out. So this is the Just Peachy Mattes palette from Too Faced. This one doesn't seem to have as strong of a smell as the regular peach palette for some reason. The next one is the Sweet Peach palette, the original Sweet Peach palette. I got this from a friend for Christmas last year. So there's a Sweet Peach palette. And the last Too Faced palette I have, that one still smells really strong. I smelled it as I was putting it back in the box. The last one I have from Too Faced is the Chocolate Gold palette. This one was new this year, and I haven't used it much, but the 2 looks I've created with it have been beautiful. And this one smells like chocolate. How can you go wrong with something that smells like chocolate? And then we're going to do Tarte. The first one I have is the Make Believe in Yourself palette. It is all but one are shimmers. And it smells like a Tarte palette, which to me smells kind of like, it's kind of like a sweet Tarte smell, I guess is probably one of the better ways to describe it. The next one will probably go in a giveaway or be decluttered. This is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3 that we got in BoxyCharm this month. Cute packaging. Just not my thing. And then there's the shades. And these palettes, for some reason, the Rainforest of the Sea palettes, they don't smell like the typical Tarte palettes, which is kind of a letdown. It's not like a deal breaker, but this one's a very loved palette. This is the Tarte Pro, the original Tarte Pro. I want to get the Tarte Pro Remix, I think. This guy, you'll see, is quite beat up. We're down to pan on quite a few shades. This is definitely a well-loved palette. It creates a beautiful eye every single time I use it. Then we have the Tarte Swamp Queen collaboration with Graveyard Girl, because who doesn't love Bunny? And this is what the palette looks like. And for this video, we're going to do 2 more brands. One is a brand that is overpriced, but absolutely worth the hype, in my opinion anyway. And the other is just a tried and true brand and formula. So the first one we're going to do real quick is the Anastasia Beverly Hills. From them I have 4 palettes. The first one I ever got was the Modern Renaissance. I wish this packaging was darker because I'm scared I'm going to mess it up. So this is the, there went the brush. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. It's a warm tone palette. I think it's one of the early on warm tone palettes at that. But I don't like the soft touch packaging in such a light color. I don't mind it in some of the other ones, but I don't care for it in light color. Next palette I got from Anastasia was the Subculture palette. We all know not everybody liked this one. Personally, I love it. I think it's beautiful. So there's the Subculture palette. It does take a little more effort to work with it. The shadows are not pressed quite the same. Honestly, I have the same problems with Modern Renaissance as I have with this one. They do create a beautiful look, but they take a little more work. The next palette I got was the Prism palette, which was released last year at Christmas time. As soon as this came out, I ordered it. So there we have the colors for that one. I actually think I kind of want to do a look with Subculture and this one together, because I think I could come up with something really cool between the 2 palettes, which I do tend to be a 1 palette per look person. Every once in a while I'll reach into something else, or I'll reach into a single, but I do like using a palette to create a full look. And the most recent palette I got from Anastasia was the Norvina palette, which was the pinks and purples. So if there's any of these palettes that interest you, that you want to see me do a look with, let me know. And we'll see if we can't make that happen. And then we have one more. I did say I was going to do one more because the last 3 brands I want to put into a category. So the last one we have is probably the priciest makeup brand I own, but I love the formula. So we have Natasha Denona. We have the Mini Lila palette, or Lila palette. I'm not sure how it's actually supposed to be pronounced. I've heard it pronounced both ways. So this is what we have in the Mini Lila. And then we have the palette that made me fall in love with Natasha Denona shadows. This is the Holiday eyeshadow palette from last year. This one is the Joya palette. There was another one called Aries that had a blue color in it, but this is the one that really spoke to me. This is the one everybody had the issue with the shadows falling out, but I went back to Sephora and exchanged it, and I haven't had a problem with this one. And then finally we have the most expensive palette I own, which was the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. I love this palette. It's beautiful. It blends beautiful, but I do have a hard time with the price of Natasha Denona palettes. So this is what the Sunset palette looks like. So there's a few more brands for you guys. I have 3 more brands left. I'm going to go ahead and record that video now, and I will get all these posted today. And then I want your comments. I want to know what looks you guys want to see. I want to know what palettes you guys want to see me use. What kind of looks you want me to create. Do you want me to do smoky looks, neutral looks? I'll try whatever it is you guys want to see. I can't promise they'll all turn out good though. I love you beauties, and I will be back with my part 3 here shortly. Mwah.